the spiritual side of success. Now, for some of you on the call, this may be a sensitive topic. There's some people, almost like politics, they don't like talking about spirituality. They don't like talking about theology. They don't like talking about religion. Well, this has nothing to do with religion. So if I say anything that may offend you in the form of religion, that's not where I'm coming from. If I say anything that kind of threatens your theology, that's not where I'm coming from. This is the spiritual side of success. And in life, I know of two truths, two of them, that are indisputable, that everybody on the call and everybody in the world has to agree to. And that is, at one point, we weren't here physically. And at another point, we won't be here physically. So I don't care what theology you come from. I don't care. Our bodies were not here at one point, and they're not going to be here at another point. We all agree. Maybe put in the chat, say, yes, I agree. And if you don't agree, put that in, because I'd love to have a conversation with you, because I like learning from everybody. So that's where I'm coming from, is the spiritual side of success. And then you can get into, well, who are we really? Are we bodies? Are we spirits? Are we eternal? Or are we just here? Because I have a lot of friends and a lot of people I've talked to. They believe we're only here. That's it. There's nothing else. There was nothing else before. There's nothing else after. And I respect that, no matter where you come from. But while you're here, there's still the spiritual side of success, even if your spiritual side is the universe, some people say, or if your side is nature. That's another truth. You can't deny there's a nature, Mother Nature. So that's where I'm coming from, is the spiritual side. I'm just going to share some of my 67 years of coming to some of the understanding that I've come to, is that anytime you discuss success, if you do not have the spiritual side of it, it's either going to be empty, it's not going to be complete, it's not going to be satisfactory, and there's going to be still something empty. Because I believe inside all of us, there's a giant. I believe inside of all of us, there is a kingdom, and I believe that was put there. We came from a kingdom of love. We're going back to a kingdom of love, and we're here to learn how to live in love at this point. And that's what the kingdom that I call the kingdom of God is all about. Came from love, going back to love. That's what we're here to learn while we're here and help each other come to that understanding. So I wanted to get that out there, because I know theology and religion can be very sensitive at times. So I won't go there, and I won't go into politics. How's that? Are we off to a good start so far? So let's do this. Let me share this here, the screen. The spiritual side of success. I have a YouTube video I did as a follow-up on Passover. For those of you that are Jewish, you understand the Passover. And, it's the same time as around Easter. So I did the message, for Passover and Easter. And I took it from one of our business meetings that I went through some of before. And so I'm not going to go into all the detail of the Passover. That's a 25-minute video. I'm going to share this on your corporate Facebook page that you have. So you can watch this on your own. It's 25 minutes. Pretty interesting. I'm going to touch on a lot of it today, but not go into the whole 25 minutes of that. So let's start out with this. I said at one point we weren't here. At another point, we're not going to be here. So what I'm trying to do today is give you the big macro view, the heavenly view, if you were looking down and saying, okay, so what are we doing here then? Why are we here? So I asked the question, and this question comes from a writing that was done in the 70s by an atheist, a woman that has her theology was more of atheist, agnostic, whatever. And she wrote a volume this thick called A Course in Miracles. Helen Schumann, A Course in Miracles. You've heard it probably in your passing and different things. So I've become a student of A Course in Miracles for the last 3+ years, 4+ years, after living in a life of Christian theology for 35 years of my life, 40 years of my life. So A Course in Miracles is called spiritual psychotherapy. And I don't know about you, but after 35 years of a very intense and a theology that I loved and I adored, because it kept me in a box. And I kind of missed that box in a way, but I was never free inside that box. And I would constantly meet people who put the same dedication and the same commitment into my certain set of theology, which was Christian in nature and evangelical Christian influence. And I looked at their life and I said, wait a minute, where is the peace? The deep down inside peace that should be natural. The same kind of peace a lot of the religious leaders, and I think of the one religious leader, Jesus, that the story goes that the children were trying to come to him, and his disciples, who had a lot of religious influence and theological influence, said, oh, no, keep them away. And Jesus said, according to what's written, oh, forbid not the children to come unto me, for such is the kingdom of God. Unless you become like little children, you shall never see the kingdom of God. Now, that kingdom of God is, in my opinion, is peace, because there's another writing that says that the kingdom is peace, joy, and love. And so this concept of becoming like little children is so real. And I don't care what religious influence you come from, you see that a lot spread throughout. So let's move off of that. Let's stay with the spiritual side of success. And let's start out with this question from A Course in Miracles. Who would you be if you did not know who you were? Just write down just some thoughts. And if you don't have any thoughts about that, and you say, wow, that's a deep question, just write down a big question mark and circle it a couple times. Who would you be if you did not know who you were? Because I meet, myself included, every morning in the mirror, I look at a person that I think I'm just my story. I think I'm just what I've got to do today. I think I'm this. I think I'm that. I think I'm all these things, but that's not who we really are. Who would you be if you did not know who you were? We never see things the way they are. We see everything the way we are. That's another concept out of A Course in Miracles. We think we see, but we don't. and you know, that's very practical. For example, someone will drive through a ghetto and they'll say, oh, I got to hurry up and get through here. Oh my gosh, I'm going to get mugged. Well, someone else will drive through and go, wait a minute, I see some opportunity. I see an opportunity for development. So we never see things the way they are. We see things the way we are. It's just the way it works, not skill set, but mindset. So, you know, Zig Ziglar, the famous motivational guru that I had the pleasure of serving with and being a part of his organization and his entire program called Born to Win, he used to tell the story, if you took someone out of the ghetto and said, you poor thing, I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to move you over to that guy that's over on the other side of town living in that mansion, and I'm going to put you in there and I'm going to make him trade places with you. And you switch those two around, 30 days later, the mansion will look like the ghetto will look like the mansion. Now, that's what you call mindset. And that is what, in my opinion, the spiritual side of success is all about. What's inside of us? So when we go here, success, the artful management of failures and setbacks. One of the things, can you see me here? So you can stop. No, I'm telling you, you have to zoom in so they can see the board. I'm not sure what Tiffany's showing, but mine's not. Because I got to see where we are and where they see the board. You know what I mean? You can stop that. Here, use this. Oh, she's hosting the meeting. That's why. You know what, Tiff? Is there a way to switch it over? So, because I can't see the board where to zoom in, what they can see and not see. Normally, I can. Oh,
yeah, let me change it.
Oh, never mind. Never mind. We're good. Andres is going to sign in his laptop. Yeah, so he can see if he's zooming in on the board or not, because I want all the folks to be able to see the board when I'm writing. Tell me when you're ready.
It's on shared content right now, so do you need to switch it back to the video?
Say that again.
It's on shared content right now, so do you need to switch it back?
I just need to switch it where I can see the Zoom room.
Yeah, you're on shared screen right now.
That's a shortcut there.
And Fred, I just made you co-host, so I don't know if that makes it any easier for you.
No, that's okay. We're going to do it. Go to My Morning Mindset and just click the link.
I got the meeting ID.
Yeah, it's the different one. They sent you a shortcut. Use the one from yesterday.
Okay, all right.
Great, because what happens is that I can't, when I'm not the host, I can't see my Zoom room and what
Right,
I'm
I think it's because you're sharing the screen. Tell Andres to stop sharing.
No, Andre's going to just look.
4748
All right,
15462.
you got it? Okay, he's got it.
Got it? Okay.
Tell me when you're ready. Zoom in on this first. How's that look? Good?
It's that Terry.
No,
You got to hold it right at the
can't see
camera.
because there it is.
Got it? Someone speak up. Can you see this?
Right,
You are a handsome man. You know that?
Fred, you're still on the shared screen. You guys are still sharing the screen, so it's the thumbnail that we can see. You have to stop sharing for us to see you.
Well, I don't want to see me. I just want to see the board. There, I want the cameras there.
Okay, there.
Do you all see this?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Rob. Anyway, this diagram, and you'll see this on that YouTube video if you watch it. You know, I think we have three dimensions. We have the spirit, we have the soul, and we have the body. And then most of our lives are lived in this physical realm because we're taught from the very time we're little kids, it's all about this, right? And then it's all about this, the psychological part, the soul, which is really our heart. How many people say, I love you with all my heart? What you're saying, I love you with all my soul. And that is your mind, your will, and your emotions. And then you have the spiritual side, which I've been talking about just now. I believe that, we came from love, we're going back to love. I believe that the spiritual
I'm sorry, we can't see that. All I see is your shared screen.
All you see is my screen. How about that? Let me share for a moment.
Yeah, me too.
If you tap on the small screen up top that would show Fred and what he's doing on the board, if you tap that, it will switch what the screen share to what the video they're showing and make that larger.
Okay. You got that, Andres?
So I see you perfectly, Fred.
Okay, zoom in on the chart. Don't worry about me.
Now we see you.
All right.
Yeah, you just have to flip the two screens.
Yeah. Zoom in there, Andres, on the chart a little bit more. All right. Okay. Got it?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Perfect. All right. So the body, the soul, the spirit, right? So you got the soul, our heart, which is made up of our mind, our will, and our emotions. And most of us, we run our lives based on how we feel. Would you agree with that? How many of you agree that for the majority of us, we live life by our feelings? How do we feel? And when you do that, I draw all these little trains in these seminars I used to do. And here's a train of life. I know I'm not a great artist. Don't make fun of my art here. Here's the train of life. This is the caboose. This is the engine. The engine of your life has got to be your mind. The middle is your will, what you will to do, what you will, what you want. The emotion should be the caboose. Never guide it. It can't. How many of your feelings have deceived you in the past? Let me just say, I've been deceived. If your feelings have ever deceived you in the past, right? Put it in the chat. I have been deceived many times because you can't live by that. So what happens to our spiritual side as little kids is that this heart, our soul, is eaten away at. And then we wonder so many times why our lives get so out of sync with what we really want and then what we really do. Jess, you need to move. Jess, you need to mute. There you go. So our mind, our will, and emotion. So the heart is eaten away at from the time we're little kids. And we're just, suffer not the children to come unto me unless you become like a little child. We need to be like little children, but we can't because we don't have that heart of the child anymore because all of our life has been eaten away at. So then we wonder why we have so many issues in life with our relationships and all those other kind of things, because it's still the little child that the heart's been eaten away at. And then you take the whole, especially with abuse and the statistics, I won't go into all that because they're ugly. The statistics of sexual abuse, the statistics of emotional abuse, the statistics of the home environments. And it's incredible. I mean, I kind of lived that life. I was sexually abused as a young kid, 4 years old, and a lot of trauma in childhood, and then my entire life there was a lot of trauma and wondering because the heart was hurt. The heart was eaten away with a little bit, and the heart up here, Andres, if you go to here now, the heart here is all about a little bit more up. You don't have to worry about me, just the words. So the heart is honesty, empathy, attitude, reserves, and tough. I'll go into a little bit more of this on the screen, but here's the thing I want to emphasize here. Once I can help you get your heart back, that's been eaten away at, and then you wonder why you try something. Any of you ever try something, and I'm going to lose weight? How many of you ever had any issues with weight? Anybody? How many people have any problem with weight? Okay. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, you're going to do it. How many times I've lost 300 pounds in my life? 300 pounds. 10 pounds, 30 times over. Well, maybe more. Maybe I've lost 1,000 pounds, right? Why is that? Why do we struggle so much? It's because we don't have any heart. We don't have any heart. And so how do you operate this train without your soul, right? So the spiritual side of success, we've got to deal with that. We got to deal with that. That's why I say it's all about the person, not the productivity. And this side of life, okay, this is nothing but the thermo. Can you see that? The thermo. But over on this side, this is the thermostat, okay? This is where you can control it. If I can help you or you can help yourself. And the way you get heart is by re-educating yourself. It's by, you heard about the book, the mini course for life that George holds up all the time, which by the way, you got to get that. I'm going to post that today, Andres. Make sure we post a cover of that on the mindset. You got to order the mini course for life. There you go. Look at Deep. That's just one of the cards. You have the book there, Deep, in front of you? The actual book? But that's okay. You have one of the lessons with it. Perfect. So this is the thermostat, and this over here is just the thermometer. So whatever's going on in your life, your bank account reflects what's going on. Your weight reflects what's going on. Your happiness level reflects what's going on. And then we try to adjust this a little bit. We try to do something over on this side, and it's impossible. Just like right now, I can start complaining. Oh my gosh, this room is warm. Oh my gosh, this room is warm. Now it's getting hot. I can do that all day long. All I have to do is go over to the thermostat and adjust it. Now, how do we adjust this is the question. How do we adjust this? The first thing is that we got to understand how we get this heart back. We got to get this heart back we came here with. We came with love. We came as a bundle of joy. Have any of you ever seen a baby? Especially when they get really cute, like 6 months, 7 months, everyone go, look, you're such a miserable looking baby. You're so ugly. I'll give you a baby. No, everyone's cute and they love you and they hug you and that. And then you make one little mistake when you're 18 months and then all of a sudden you're a bad boy, right? What happened to that little love and all the other cuddling and all that kind of stuff? Because, we came with that love and we're going back to that. How do we get back to that original love? How do we get back to that original love? So we have this heart, the honesty with ourselves, that this is not working. The empathy, not sympathy. I told this, you'll hear that in the tape. I won't get into the sympathy and empathy because that's in the 25-minute video I did for Passover and Easter that I'm going to post. But I always thought I was an empathetic individual. I was only sympathetic. And that's the difference. We feel sorry for ourselves. We believe our story. We become our story. We live our story. We tell our story. over and over and over and over again. I can tell you all kind of stories, and brothers who kill themselves. Another brother died in prison after 28 years. Going to the emergency room. My mom was gang raped. I could go on, but that's not who I am. Who would I be if I didn't know who I was, right? And that's what how we get this heart back. Reserves, so the middle of this, the thermometer, there's only one thing that's going to fix this, and that is attitudinal healing. We got to heal this attitude of who we are. There's a whole organization that I'm a member of. This office is a center for it, Attitudinal Healing International. That's who wrote that book that Deep held up, the mini course for life. Attitudinal Healing International, go to that website, Attitudinal Healing International, live there in order to get your heart back. Because without this, you might succeed in business, and we're going to get into the business side of it, but you're not going to be very satisfied with it. You got to change this. You got to get your heart back. And the spiritual side, what happens is you start seeing this spiritual side of you. Are you zooming back in? Good. This spiritual side of it, what will happen is these circles will start changing. The body will become the smaller circle. The soul and the spirit will be the bigger circle. And pretty soon, once you start living a spiritual driven life, the body, weight loss is more natural. Making money is more natural. Many of you have heard of The Secret, correct? That it's just a matter of allowing life to happen for you, not to you. And the more you can transfer and get, not live here, that's when the spirit starts taking over and you become a full thermostat in your life. Not that things don't go wrong. You just saw me the other night, 2 glasses of wine. I was pushing all week, didn't get out till 8:30 to eat lunch. 8:30 at night, 2 glasses of wine. On the way home, I decided, a quart of ice cream would be nice, right? not that you don't make those mistakes, but the next day I fixed it. I said, oh my gosh, that's a reflection. I'm working to it, whatever. So I read that. I got tough on myself. The T in heart, I got tough on myself. I called on my reserves. I started listening to some of my favorite people, and I was fine. I just adjusted the thermostat. So this is what this is about, the spiritual side of success. I'm going to go back to sharing my screen so you can get off of there. And let me go through this. Here we go. All right, so this is the thing, like the other night, okay, I'm being really, open, oh my gosh. The night before, I test everything on this chart by my sleep. With the Fitbit, it gives me a score of what my score was. The night before, when I was good and, I had taken care of myself better that day, got some walks in, my sleep score was 85. The night that I decided to eat at 8:30 and drown my sorrow or my whatever I drowned in, with the 2 glasses of wine, a big meal, and then the quart of ice cream. And by the way, I didn't mention the M&M peanuts on top of that and the Kind bar. But that sleep score that night, are you ready for this? 58. So what happened? I was a reflection of where my thermostat was that night. As a matter of fact, it was really interesting that night that I left here, and this was going, and I said, I started to turn left to go to Caesars. I said, it's 8:30. If I just fast tonight and go to bed, I'll sleep much better. I deserve it. The little kid was looking for something, right? The little kid was looking for something. But what did the little kid do? He made a bad choice. So I wasn't living on the spiritual side of success that night. But the next day I artfully managed it, and that's what it's all about. So now this is going to, I'm going to get into this here. William James, if you really want to learn how to live in the spiritual side of life, and live having that train, your mind guide that train, your life, and your will being under your control, and the emotions, you celebrate them when they're good, you ignore them when they're bad. And that's another whole conversation, because I have people, oh no, you gotta, let the emotions flow, you gotta cry, and I agree. I do a lot of crying. But my life is guided by the spirit. My life is guided by the mind. So, and I believe, okay, and this is what I believe, and I feel, and I know my life, I feel that the Holy Spirit, which is God's Spirit, is what gets me to life. And it's a matter of that peace and that joy and that kindness and that meekness, that gentleness, that causes success just to be a byproduct. It causes it to be a byproduct. But I want you to study this guy, William James, if you're serious about this topic. He's called the father of psychology. Everyone knows that on any given day, there are energies slumbering in him, which the incitements of that day do not call forth. Compared with what we ought to be, we are only half awake. The human individual usually lives far within his limits. Now, this one here, Marianne Williamson, is a lady who's Jewish, and she discovered A Course in Miracles, and she's the one that really brought it forth to the forefront on Oprah Winfrey, and how it changed her life. But she says our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure, and is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It is not just in some of us, it is in everyone. And we let our own light shine. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. And I'm giving you permission today. As we are liberated from our own fear, fear being false education appearing real, and liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates us. Our presence, our presence, our presence, our presence. You know, most of us, myself included, I was a master at this. I lived with 1 foot in the past. I always had 1 foot in the future, thinking I'm going to fix my past, and I was pissing all over the present. And day by day, I learned more and more that as that spiritual side grows more and the body grows smaller, is that there's nothing at all except the present. And every moment is not every moment. Each day it gets better. Is that more and more I just live in that present moment, no matter what's going on around. This is now, since we're talking business here, and not just the emotional and the psychological. Adele, it's false education appearing real. Fear, false education appearing real, or better, false evidence appearing real, because everything is illusions. As I said, you know, we never see things the way they really are. We only see things the way we are. So that's false evidence appearing real. How many, since we're talking business, and this is a sad statistic, and every day, if anything discourages me more than anything else, because I'm talking to a lot of people with real estate license. Well, Fred, I don't know whether I can afford the $85 a month. Or, hey, Fred, you know what? You know, I did only 3 deals last year, and I'm with this 100% company. And, you know, darn, I'm not going to pay 80%. And, you know, gee, because I add up 20% to start out with, you know, instead of the focus being, wait a minute, and as I say, wait a minute, one more deal would make it change your life. Just one more deal. You don't think I can help you get 1 more or 2 more deals? So we limit ourselves. And this is why we have this statistic. This is why we have this statistic. We're living in a country with such abundance. I don't care what you do for a living. You could be a waitress. You know, look at Susie Orman, you know, who started out as a waitress. Okay. You could be a waitress and you should be a millionaire in America. Now, maybe not at 20, not at 30. Not at 40, maybe, but by the time you hit 45, 50, if you're not a millionaire, you don't have $1 million worth of net worth, there's something wrong. And what's wrong is this over here. We've lived our lives as thermometers instead of thermostats. How many U.S. millionaire households are there? A new survey has found 11.8 million, net worth of 1 million, equal to 3% of the United States. It's got to stop. I had someone the other day, I asked them about your real estate license. How many of you have your real estate license right next to you? Or close by, you could grab it. If you don't, I want you to do this. I want you to find your real estate license. And I had somebody do this the other day. I said, I want you to take a marker. I want you to write on there right now, $100,000. Because if anybody has a real estate license and they're not making $100,000 after about a year of trial and error and education and informing yourself, maybe 18 months. In your second year, second to third year, that gap, if you're not on your way to $100,000, you've got the wrong mentor, you got the wrong coach, you've got the wrong business system, and you got the wrong mindset. Because it's not skill set, it's mindset. Someone was mentioning about help videos and SkySlope. There's help videos everywhere. I was sitting with an agent the other day. He was distressed. He went, oh my gosh, I can't do this, I can't do that. And I said, do me a favor. It was on MLS. Go up to that button. It's called help. Click that. I said, look at that video library. He never found it. He had never been there. And he's been licensed for 7 months. I said, how do you do that? As little kids, they're inquisitive. How many of you took things apart as a kid? I used to take the electrical sockets out of the wall. I got shocked as a baby. I'm inquisitive. When I got into the real estate business, my 23-year-old former job as a garbage man, I quadrupled my income my first year because I was inquisitive. How did that work? Oh, what's that training tape sitting in the corner? Big VSA tapes. It was to learn how to work for self-owners. Be inquisitive. This is a sad, sad statistic. Now, let me go into this and wrap this up here on this side. There's a psalm, okay, in the scriptures that says, what is man that you are mindful of him, and the son of man that you visit and care for him? For you have made him a little lower than the angels. Now in Hebrew, that's Elohim, which means you made him a little bit lower than God, like the angels. And you have crowned him with glory and honor. You have made him to have dominion over the works of your hands. You have put all things under his feet. Yet we can't even handle a relationship with a child. We can't even handle a nasty customer. Where is our glory and honor? How many of you feel like you have glory in your life and you have honor? You do. You do. The reason a lot of us don't feel it is because our heart's been so eaten away at, and spiritually we're weak. Spiritually we're lacking, but we're not, because it's all within inside of us, like Marianne Williamson said. And according to this, if you believe in God and life, that we came and we're just a little lower than the angels. Oh my gosh. And then there's another verse in the Hebrew scriptures. This is interesting. God is begging Israel and Judah to come to him and says, hey, let us reason together. So your maker, in my opinion, or nature, or the universe, whatever you want to call it, it's negotiating with you. It's saying, come, let us reason together. Though you have sins, which are shortcomings, that are like crimson, they should be white. So you got your maker. So life is happening for you, not to you. We're guaranteed this. It's ours. We own it. We own it. That's the spiritual side of success. And the thing with why we don't feel that way, many of us has been spending our entire lives setting ourselves on fire that others could be warmed. We set ourselves on fire that others may be warmed. We're not, who are we to be fabulous and gorgeous and wealthy because it makes everybody else look so bad? Stop setting yourself on fire that others could be warmed. There's another whole thing about codependency. We could do 3 days on that one. A Course in Miracles. This is an awful lot, but I'm going to go through this fairly quickly. I'm going to put this up on the mindset. This is right out of A Course in Miracles. It's called the Test of Truth. The essential thing is in learning is that you do not know. You got to understand you do not know. That's the way I live. My attitude, I don't know anything. I was on one of my own websites the other night, and we missed a lot of stuff last night. I'm going, why are people inquisitive? Why don't we look into this stuff, right? I approach everything as I don't know. I drive people that work for me crazy because I'm always fiddling. I'm always changing. I'm always looking for the better way because I know there's much better ways. Yet the essential thing in learning is that you don't know. Knowledge is power, and all power is of God. You have the power, but you have interposed so much between it and your awareness of that you cannot use it. You just got so much in between your greatness, as Marianne Williamson talked about. There's a lot that stands between you and the power of God in you, but you're learning. It's because you've learned the false. It's the false evidence appearing real, the false evidence that is appearing real, the false education. And you've learned to be powerless. We've learned it. Now, a lot of us, we learned it from abusive this or someone that wasn't nice, or abusive relationships, or from our own allowing our own thinking to take over. so we learn to be powerless. Atonement, now this is not a theological term, this is a spiritual term in my opinion. I believe we all were atoned for because God made us as angels and that's what he wants us to be. He wants us to be like little children. How many of you believe little 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds are angels, right? I mean, they act like angels, they feel like angels. When you hug them, they feel like, and there's nothing like being hugged by my 3-year-old granddaughter, right? 4-year-old granddaughter. There's nothing like it. Why? Because she's still pure love. She hasn't been ruined yet by the adults. And this is what we got to get back to. We got to get back to this where we're all light. So there's a lot here. I'm just going to post this so you all can read it. There's a couple things here. Nothing you have ever learned can help you understand the present. Listen to that. Nothing you have ever learned can help you understand the present or teach you how to undo your past. Nothing can teach you how to undo your past. There is no past. It's an illusion. It's false evidence appearing real. What you need to do is take that spiritual part and let it grow up. I mean, let it grow out and do away with all those illusions. There is no past, right? Right? It's gone. Where is it? Where'd it go? Darkness. This is a big theme of A Course in Miracles. Darkness cannot be seen. How many times do you feel you're living in darkness with your own life? I'm talking about your own psychological. Like, oh my gosh. I put a challenge on Facebook the other day. I said, when you make this statement, there's something, usually it's follow up wrong with him or wrong with her or wrong with it. There's never something right with it. Well, there's something right with everything, every crisis, every life story you can come up with, every circumstance. There's something right with it. Life is not happening to you. It's happening for you. Darkness cannot be seen. And yet we spend our lives trying to figure out our darkness when all the light is already in us, right? That's the spiritual side of success. So learn of happiness, which is yours. But to accomplish this, all your dark lessons must be brought willingly to the truth. And this is some of the truth this morning. This here is really, really good here. This is, you have one test, as sure as God, by which to recognize if what you learned is true. You want to test your life if it's truth. You want to test your theology. You want to test your religion. You want to test your relationships. Ask yourself this question. If you are wholly free of fear of any kind, and if all those who meet or even think of you share in your perfect peace, that's your test, folks. That's your test of your relationships. Do you have perfect peace? That's a test of your God. That's a test of your theology, your psychology, your philosophy. That is the test of all time. That is the test of all time. Is there perfect peace? The absence of perfect peace means but one thing. You think you do not will for God's Son what his Father wills for him. He made you a little lower than the angels. You don't agree with that if you don't have that perfect peace. And I want to help you to achieve that position in life where nothing is but circumstances. And it's all about success in every area of your life. And the place to start is a mini course of life. And we're going to post a picture of it up online so you can get it. And the other is Attitudinal Healing International. Look that up online, Attitudinal Healing International. I'm going to post this for your own reading. This is the whole chapter in A Course in Miracles. That is, where's the title? It's here somewhere. The Test of Truth, chapter 14, the Test of Truth. Because how many of you want to live a lie? Can I see your hands? Right in there. I want to live a lie. Thank you. How many of you say, I want to live a truth? Put it in the chat box. I want to live a truth. I want to live in truth of who I really am. It feels different, right? I want to live in truth. None of us want to live a lie. I just had the opportunity of doing a wedding for one of my nephews the other day. And at the ceremony, you know how you get them to look at each other and exchange vows and all that good stuff. And I'm going to promise you this, promise that. Well, I said, okay, guys, I got some vows for you. And I reached in a bag and I bought them 2 big mirrors. And I made them look at themselves. And I said, okay, I want you, David, to look and tell yourself, I forever will make you happy. I will honor you. I will do this and I will do that. and I made her do the same thing. And I said, okay, now your vows are over. And I made the point Listen, only we can find that kingdom that's within. Only we can do our own peace, because that's what it's all about. So this is the board. I'll post this up also. We're running out of time here, but this is in that 25-minute thing I did for Passover and Easter. I hope that you look at this, because this thermostat versus the thermometer affects every side of your life. And the left side is all about performance and ego and fear and competition and judgments. And on the right side, the thermostat, you can have, it's all about the person, the soul, the love, the cooperation, the forgiveness. And it's not about the what, it's about the why. Why am I here? Why, do I have a family? Why do I have this? Why? But in a good why, not what happened and all that stuff. So I'll post that with this. I hope that you'll get into that 25-minute video that's up here, this YouTube link, because that really goes deeper into this. So I hope that, I've sparked some interest in you to make your life all about you. And when I say that, I don't mean in a selfish way. I used to have a plaque. I have a text here from someone who now her body is ridden with, disease. She used to work for me as a young girl. She was with me for many years on and off in different projects. And she used to argue with me about spirituality and religion and philosophy. And she had her own ideas. I would listen to her and I would say, that's interesting. That's interesting. That's interesting. And eventually she took on this ownership of spiritual success. And I used to have on my desk, I am third. And she would always, of course, people ask, what's that mean? I am third. Well, it's all about where I came from, where I'm going back to, which I say God and love. And then it's others. And then it's myself. Because see, I can't have atonement. I can't have peace without you. I can't have it without you. So it's all one. And so the other day, she actually had a family who's going through a lot of tough stuff, and her whole life has changed. And she's like my adopted daughter. She actually wrote me a text sharing on Facebook with these people of why you should be third. All your problems are because you're not third. And she quoted me. And she says, my adopted father used to have on his desk, and I never understood it, and I argued with him about it. So I want to hopefully challenge you to dig deep, go study William James, go study A Course in Miracles. There's tons of it. Attitudinal Healing International, because success will then just flow. And people that know me, that work with me, they go, wait a minute, 2 years now, you've had this center. I don't see a lot of flow. Oh, there's plenty of flow, trust me. Just because you may not see it, it's there. But, all the other lessons, is what causes us to answer that question. Who would I be if I really, this right here, who would you be if you did not who you were? I already am everything I need to be, and so are you. I'm just a little bit less than the angels. You're fabulous. You're marvelous, just like Marianne Williams wrote. So we're going to post this, and I hope that that's been helpful for some of you and that you got a lot out of it. So with that, we have a couple minutes, questions.
Fred, can you post that link into the chat, please?
Which one?
That YouTube link.
Oh, okay. I'm going to put it right on my morning mindset as soon as we hang up. Is that okay?
Okay, that works. Thank you.
All right, super. Anybody else? All right, guys. And by the way, with this side
amazing.
here, and this is for George. And he's gotten better, but this is for George. You know how he always tries to end things where he said, go out and kick the living shit out of them. I always tell him, George, that's the left side of the chart, my friend. That's all about performance. I'm going to say to you, go out there and find how marvelous you really are, and that you're just a little less lower than the angels, and go out there and give yourself away. Give that beautiful person away to your customers and to the sellers and to everything else. So don't go out there and kick anybody. Go out there and love everybody, okay?